I broke a radio in my best friend's garage, and 2 hours later there was a deputy in the driveway. Nobody called him about the radio. I was 15. My dad coached 8th grade football and ran the concession stand at every home game, and anybody in that town would tell you he was one of the good ones. At our house there was a padlock on the pantry. My meals were school breakfast and school lunch. Weekends, I mostly didn't eat unless he decided I'd earned it. And when I did something wrong, I went out to the garage. No light, no heater. He'd say, "Come back in when you can tell me what you did." So I'd stand out there working on my answer because if it wasn't good enough, I went back out. One night in February, it took me 4 tries to get it right. He never used the word punishment. He said he was the only person who would ever tell me the truth. He said nobody was coming to help me and I'd thank him someday. He said soft kids get eaten. Elias sat next to me in shop class. He taught constantly and didn't seem to mind that I never talked back. Halfway through the semester, he asked if I wanted to help him and his dad pull a carburetor off a mower. I said I had to be home by 6. He said okay. Their garage was the thing that broke me, and I didn't know it at the time. Space heater running, a radio on the shelf, a beat-up paint-spattered thing from the 70s that Nick's father had in his shop before him. Coffee can full of bolts, a dog asleep on a moving blanket. Nick shook my hand like I was a person. 20 minutes in, Elias caught a shelf bracket with his elbow and dumped 9 pounds of hardware across the concrete. I was on the floor before the noise stopped, picking it up with both hands, sorting it by size, saying sorry over and over for something I hadn't done. Nick said, buddy, that's what brooms are for." Then he looked at my hands a second longer than he needed to. I stayed for dinner. Spaghetti. I took one helping and sat with my hands in my lap until Nick said there was a whole pot and pushed it toward me. I asked permission to use the bathroom. I called him sir until he told me to quit it. Elias stripped a bolt head clean off and swore, and my whole body went rigid. Nick leaned over, looked at it, and said, "Well, now you know what that feels like. Go get the extractor." Nothing happened. Nobody stood up. Nobody went outside. I went back 4 more times that month. He always asked if my dad was okay with it. I always said yes. The last time I turned too fast with a socket wrench in my hand and caught the edge of the shelf, and the radio went off and hit the concrete and stopped. The garage went completely quiet. I heard myself start talking. I wasn't paying attention. I was careless. I don't have any excuse. I know better. I'll pay for it. I'll get a job. I'm sorry. I was already down on the floor. I couldn't get my breathing right. Elias said, "Dude, it's a radio." And I looked up at Nick and asked how long I had to stay out here. He didn't answer right away. He pulled an empty bucket over and sat down on it so he was lower than me. And he said, "Out where, son?" I said, "Out here, in the garage." "How long?" I watched a grown man's face change. He put his hand flat on the concrete like he needed to hold on to something. Then he asked me, very quietly, "What happens at your house?" I told him, all of it. The padlock, the garage, the 4 tries in February. Elias sat down on the floor beside me and didn't say one word the entire time, which I've always been grateful for. When I finished, Nick said, "You're not going back there tonight." He took his phone out to the driveway. I could see him through the window, walking back and forth in the cold, one hand on the back of his neck. When he came in, he told me somebody was coming out, that I didn't have to say anything I didn't want to, and that he'd be sitting right next to me the whole time. He was, for all of it, and for the 14 months after it, and at my graduation. I'm 24 now. That radio never did get fixed. Nick keeps it on the shelf anyway, still cracked, right where it always was. I've got one just like it in my own place. I leave it on all night. I don't sleep well in a quiet house.